Welcome back to another episode of Strength and Conditioning for eSport Athletes. I'm Strength Coach Freeman, and today's video is going to be about soft tissue work for the hands and forearms. I already have a few videos out on this, but today we're going to be using a new tool. This tool I got in Thailand, and it's another tool used for you doing different kinds of soft tissue work on the hands, feet, forearms, and other parts of the body. This is most usually used on the hands and feet. This tool has two tips. Although the thin end is primarily used, the thicker end can also be used as a tool. And again, we use these tools ideally before a video game session, before a strength conditioning session. They can be used other times too, just for recovery. If you have trigger points, that's fine. But they're most effective prior to exercise. So, as I've talked about in previous videos, a good strength conditioning session should have four components, right? Component 1, soft tissue work. Component 2 should be your movement prep, right? Your dynamic warm-up exercises. Third step should be your gameplay, right? So whether you're playing video games or you are doing some hand strengthening exercises, which we'll talk about in future videos. And then finally, you should be your recovery, where you do static stretching. So this tool would be used again for step number 1. So I'm going to zoom in here in a sec so I can show you how this tool would be utilized on the hands. Okay, so here's a close-up of this tool. Now, compared to the Japanese tools that we went through in previous videos, it's kind of in between in terms of the pointedness. It's not as rounded as the first one, but not as pointed as the second one. But again, a good tool. I like how it works. And again, you can also use the back end, so you kind of got a double-sided thing here. So again, we'll kind of work through it in the same kind of pattern, right? We'll start, I'm going to start more to the outside of the hand here. I'm just working real gently, just kind of looking for trigger points. Now again, some people believe that the different points in the hand and feet correlate to other parts of the body. I don't know if that's true. It might be, but I can't say with any certainty whether or not it's true or false. But I do know doing this kind of work really feels great on the hands. My mobility feels better. Any kind of tightness or soreness in my hand usually dissipates for a while after doing this kind of work. And I really recommend it prior to a video game session, as well as any kind of training session that you're going to be doing for your hands. Definitely got a good trigger point right there. So I'm going to go through that breathing system, 3 to 5 breaths. Sometimes when you hold it, you can also kind of move the adjacent joints, right? So I'm feeling this most at the base of my thumb. So moving my thumb can help me kind of work into that area. It's kind of a way of making this static soft tissue work a little more dynamic. Again, it's different than a static stretch because we're not putting muscle under tension in a static position. We're just kind of holding the tool on a spot to work into that soft tissue. So that one's definitely a sensitive area, so I'm going to have to come back to that in the future. So I know that that's a spot. Now, ideally, try to remember your trigger points, right? Because in the future, you might want to come back to these. Right? So if you're doing this a few times a week, nice and gently, you might realize that you have certain spots that are just trouble spots. So when you come back to them in the future, check on them, see if they're doing any better, see if you need to do a little extra work, and try to monitor to see if over time these are getting better. So that's why the order of the training program is so important. Doing this first will fix the trigger points so your hands will function better during activity, but the activity of the warm-ups, the movement prep, as well as the actual training, right, whether it be strengthening or video gaming, that's all going to help to keep these trigger points fixed. It's going to help to train the muscle and the fibers into the proper position so they don't fall back into this kind of disordered pattern, which might be linked to what's causing discomfort or lack of function. I'm going to flip to the other side. Again, those meaty parts of the hand are really what you want to go for. We're not looking to go to bone. We want to work to the muscle tissue and a little bit of connective tissue. It's nice and thick, right? We don't want to be working bone or right into any tendons. Try if I got one right there. Sometimes when you hit a trigger point, you'll feel it in satellite trigger points. Satellite trigger point is a trigger point that's kind of further down the nerve, right? As long as you press here, I'm actually feeling a little bit of sensation into my ring and pinky fingers. So it means I really need to correct this because it's causing other problems further down. Sometimes they're called satellite trigger points, or sometimes I think I've heard them referred to as ghost trigger points, where you feel the discomfort but you can't find where it's coming from. Okay, so again, if you want to gently, very gently, kind of work between the bones. Very gently. Okay, you don't want to be pushing the bones out of position or anything like that. Just very gently, just kind of rubbing down the tissue, just a light massage. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Very good. All right, so that's pretty much how you use this tool. Again, you can flip it and use the thicker side to get some more surface area, the different parts of the hand. Pretty simple stuff. And this tool again, that's the one right there. This tool can be used on other parts of the body as well. In future videos, I plan on showing how you can use it in the forearms, for the neck, the back, the face, right? A lot of people grind their teeth. We have a lot of tightness in our jaw. So the masseter muscle that controls the jaw, they say is the strongest muscle for its size in the body and has some of the highest amounts of trigger points. So that's why a lot of people grind their teeth. They got these trigger points. It's causing their jaw to tighten while they sleep, and that could be an issue. So sometimes when people are gaming and they get really intense, they kind of clench up, they clench the jaw. That could be leading to issues in the jaw, in those muscles, and sometimes can even lead to headaches. So I'll show in the future how we can use these tools on other parts of the body to get you feeling good and relaxed when you have a gaming session. Thanks for watching, and tune in for future videos.